What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Gyllene Tider, and we're up to the final tune on the Swingin' Sweet EP. Thank you again to Gebus, though I do have to note there are more tracks in this folder, so we'll get into what I guess are a handful of bonus tunes next time. But yes, the final track on the EP, if Google Translate is correct, means "don't give me that." So if you were to use that expression here in English, it would mean, don't tell me nonsense, or don't lie to me, don't give me an overly optimistic perspective. Like, don't give me that is, don't say that. Speak more plainly or straightforwardly. And it feels like the essence of it is that they don't want to be talked down to, deceived, or otherwise patronized. But of course, the phrase literally on the page could be like, I don't want the thing you are offering, don't give me that. But I feel like maybe that's less likely. Either way, I don't know if the nuances of the phrase, even if it's a reasonable translation, I don't know if the nuances of the phrase in the original Swedish have anything to do with either of those possibilities. So let's just give it a listen. This is Gyllene Tider. The song, as I said, I believe translates to "Don't Give Me That," and it's the final tune on their Swingin' Sweet EP, which is seemingly a part of the larger Modern Times album, at least as Discogs listed. But as I said, there are also a couple more tunes. Oh, I say a couple. It's actually 5 more tunes in this folder. So here we go, Gyllene Tider, "Don't Give Me That." What a fun little tune. Wait, always. There's always something going on in the afters or in the margins of their tunes. I really should have learned my lesson by now to just wait, because there's usually something coming around the corner, whether it be a cheeky extra vocal or even a tune extending longer than I thought. But yeah, here it seemed to be just kind of like these little bells or glass sounds and some vocal way off in the distance. But speaking of bells or maybe chimes, that main melodic run was not only bright and very consonant and enjoyable, but it had a bit of a throwback sound. But this one felt, I don't know if Beach Boys is the right comparison. It didn't feel like Beatles, it didn't feel like 50s rock and roll. It had a slightly different vibe to it, but still a bit of a throwback homage feel overall. That being said, the cycling bass line was really catching my ear too. It was a relatively simple bass line, but it was prominent in the mix of the track. Pear's vocals felt like echoed, or like there was a filter on them or something. So I don't know if there was, something done to give it that sort of echoic effect. But yeah, maybe it was just in the recording of it, but definitely it felt more like that than others I remember on this album or even in the Gyllene Tider catalog overall. But yeah, I enjoyed especially that section. I think it was like the beginning of the back half of the tune where the guitar and the bass sort of stripped out for a second and it just did that straight chime or bell run and then it dropped back in. So yeah, I'd still call it, rock music, but definitely with a bit of melody that is from a non-standard instrument in a rock track. So yeah, that could have just been a keyboard run, but with like a bell or chime kit. Either way, it sounds like a fun tune. Again, I don't quite know what to make of the title. I do look forward to any insights people have. But yeah, a lot of their tunes just have this fun sound. And, some of them have been more rocking. Some of them, and again, thank you to the, folks who, Gebus and others who've been commenting on the lyrics as we've gone along. But yeah, some of them, kind of make cultural points and so on. But yeah, generally speaking, it seems like a lot of their catalog is just fun, which certainly the Roxette catalog, there's a lot of deeply emotional tunes and there's a lot of tracks which are scene painting and so on, but fair to say a large section or percentage of the Roxette catalog has a fun, energetic vibe to it. So it feels like in some ways Pear was very much heading in the direction that he would be most internationally famous for. In any case, speaking of Roxette, we've got a Roxette reaction coming right after this, if my brain and my mouth can continue to function correctly, which I'm suspect about, or I'm suspecting is maybe not the case. I'm proving my point here. In any case, I will see you for that in a moment. Peace.